Hello again. This is Stefan Senna. This is my channel, The Coherence Path, and I welcome you back. And today I wanted to share an individual piece of my artwork and a little bit about it. And each time I share a piece of artwork, I feel obligated to tell you the full background of how I ended up creating art, but that would probably take up half of this video when what I want to do is just talk about a particular piece of art. Now, I'll try to keep it brief, so here it goes. Back in 1997, after a couple car accidents and a severe neck injury suffered in a diving accident from a diving board, I ended up in bed for almost 3 years. And during a peak experience where I was going to exit this environment, I was told to paint. Now, that was the last thing that I wanted to do. I had no interest in doing art whatsoever. And in my book, Struck by the Light, I go into this in detail and in one of my other videos. I'm going to organize my videos on my YouTube channel by the category consciousness, experience, and art. So this is one that'll go in the art category. Anyway, I got into an argument with the universe that was audibly talking to me in the room. And I know, it sounds crazy, but I had heard that voice before at other times in my life where it saved me from exiting when I was young. And but at any rate, through that experience, I awoke, and the first thing I wanted to do was paint. Now, the painting that I share in this video is one that, for whatever reason, people respond to a lot. And when I first painted this painting, I think this is the one that I stayed up and painted for 24 hours and more. I didn't sleep, I just kept painting this painting. And it was based on an experience that I had, you would say, out of body. Now, I've come to realize that none of us are really in our body. We're just looking through this human experience. But at any rate, my consciousness at that time experienced a very visual and emotional experience that was the motivating factor of me painting this painting once I came out of that experience. I think this was the third painting that I painted. Prior to this, I wasn't a painter. I drew and I sculpted, and I had attempted painting, but I really pretty much sucked at it. I didn't get all the goopy colors that you blended together. It just turned to mud. But at any rate, after my experience, I went back to school, and I ended up joining this little art group. And there was probably, I think, 10 people there. And once a month, I think it was, somebody would come and share their art. And I had never shared my art. I'm pretty much an introvert for the most part. And I was just having fun painting at home. And then I would go to this art group, and we would discuss Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way, and do little fun exercises and so forth. But it had been several months and I hadn't shown my art, and so I decided, well, I'll bring a few paintings and I'll show people. So I threw all my paintings in my vehicle and brought them over and showed them to people, and people liked them, and I took them home, and that was that. There wasn't any great majestic thing that happened, you know. It was just that I shared the paintings, and then I went home. Anyway, a few months after that, somebody in the group told me that we were going to have a potluck because one of the members of the group was leaving. And they mentioned this person's name, but you know, when you're in a group, if you're an introvert more like I am, you don't necessarily talk to everybody intimately. And I had never talked to this person other than just saying, hi, how are you? And that's it. And so when this individual that I did talk to mentioned that we were having a potluck and that this person was leaving the group, I thought, oh, okay, well, let's have a potluck and see them off and hope the best for them. So that's what we did. I think I made a cucumber salad or something, or brought a watermelon. I can't remember what, but I got out of my car at the park where we were all meeting, and as I walked across the grass, I saw this individual. It was a woman walking toward me, and she said, "Hey, Stefan, can I talk to you?" And I immediately, thought, "Oh gosh, what's going on?" Because I could tell she was emotionally, definitely feeling something. And I thought, well, gosh, did I offend this person somehow? I didn't know her, but I thought, well, maybe I did something that she didn't like, and that she wanted to share that with me, or something. I had no idea she was leaving town. So, but she walked up next to me and she said, "I need to tell you something that was a response to me seeing one of your paintings." And I was a little shocked, and I said, "Okay, what is it?" And she said, "Well, I had been trying to figure my life out. I had, been in a relationship, and I was smoking. I had a job I didn't like. There was just lots of things going on in my life, and just nothing was working. And I tried reading all kinds of books and listening to different things, and nothing seemed to really help." And she said that, but when she saw that painting of mine, the one that I'm sharing here on this video, she said, "I finally got it. There was something that clicked inside of me, and I decided to get out of the relationship I was in. I decided to quit smoking. I've quit my job, and that's why I'm moving out of state to seek another opportunity that I think is more suiting for my life." And when she said this, I was, emotional. I thought, gosh, that's an incredibly wonderful thing that she's experienced. I could relate to introspection and self-actualization and emotional healing, because I was not only experiencing that myself but continued to do so and do to this day. And I was quite surprised, and I don't think I think I said something like, "Well, I don't really know what to say." And she said, "Well, you don't have to say anything. I just wanted to let you know that for whatever reason, your painting carried a message to me in particular, and that helped me change my own viewpoint." And I thought, well, that's quite interesting. And so anyway, we went to the potluck. We had a good time. I still didn't really talk to her much. I did say goodbye to her when I left, and I haven't heard anything regarding her since. That's been, I don't know, 25 years now. But it's a little creature stirring up there. But anyway, at first I thought, well, geez, maybe that means that, this is the ego. Gosh, maybe that means my paintings are magical, and that, there must be angel energy infused in them, and I'm going to change the entire planet because I had this near-death or out-of-body experience. I was told to paint, and now I'm going to fix everybody. Well, that was, pretty much a pipe dream and all ego. Because once I investigated, the reason why I was asked to paint and how that was personally speaking to me, I discovered that really what those paintings were a reflection of my own conscious state, and that I could learn something from those states of consciousness. And that's what they were, kind of like looking at the mirror during a particular period of time, a particular slideshow of a moment, like a dream. You can reflect back on a dream in your life, and maybe that dream is meaningful and it teaches you something that you just couldn't get during the daytime. Maybe loved ones or friends or family were telling you, you know, you really need to change your job, or you really need to shift out of that relationship you're in, but you just don't hear it. But then you have this dream that for some reason transports you to the meaning, the place of that meaning, where you can actually take action. And you do. You think, gosh, that dream was interesting, and I guess I finally get it. And so you make a change, and you go about living a better life. Or this can happen through external means. You know, maybe you should have been leaving that job, and you kept denying it and denying it and denying it. And finally, you go to that job, and they've hired somebody else. And they told you, well, we fired you. You know, you're laid off. So there was an explicit external thing that finally motivated you to move on because you were ignoring it to begin with. So anyway, when I reflected upon what this painting, how it evolved within me and out of that experience that I had, and then, one result of how it spoke to another person, then I began to treat my images, my paintings, as consciousness. And that's obviously what they are. They came out of consciousness. But I began to sit with the paintings and ask questions, or just feel what they were translating to me, or could be translating to me. I don't think that they're magical things. They're paint on canvas, stretched on stretcher bars, or they're just loose that I pinned to the wall, and they're just physical objects. But so is a lot of things. You know, we are affected by images all over the place, whether it's Coca-Cola or ABC, if there still is one. All kinds of images we see on Instagram and YouTube and other things. We're always being inundated with images, and we ignore most of them, and that's fine, but sometimes the image speaks to us. Sometimes that image is the face of a person we know, or a person we don't know. Sometimes it's the face of a dog or a cat, and that brings us joy. But images are always coming to us, and it allows us to have the opportunity to ask, well, is this image meaningful for me in this moment? Is there something that I can learn from this image in this moment? And so that image, it was, I guess, the third one that I painted after that experience I had. Excuse me, it's getting late. It was primarily a very joyful experience that I had. I was out of my body, if you want to say that. Sitting on a beach, beautiful beach. The one I've seen similar to it is in that movie Contact, where Jodie Foster meets her dad on the beach. It was very similar to that feeling. It was peaceful and unconditionally loving in presence. And it was a place where I just let go of things and started the healing process. And then when I was out of that experience and painting, it was a very joyful experience to paint it, to spread the paint around on the canvases. I had no idea what I was doing. I was literally asking the paint, who wants to go next? You know, I'd look at the red or the yellow or the green or the blue, whatever it was. I just said, you know, who goes next? Who wants to go on the canvas? And I would get these little sort of intuitive hits. Pick me. And that's how I painted it. And I didn't pre-sketch out any of it. I painted the whole painting in probably, I don't know how long it took me. But anyway, that's a little bit about that painting. If you enjoy looking at it, then enjoy it. And if there's some message embedded in it that perhaps that you've consciously created, to guide your own life, then that's great too if you can get something out of it. Other than that, that's the end of this video. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll be back with another video either in this category or another one. And I appreciate all your time that you spent with me today. Have fun out there, be yourself, and yeah, just enjoy your day. Thank you.